Hello friends, welcome you all to my YouTube channel and you are watching Vigyan Shala. Today we are going to study class 8th chapter 1 crop production and management. Before starting the chapter, let me tell you the subject outlines of what we have to do, study in it, alright? In this chapter we are going to learn about agricultural practices, what is the crop, what are the types of crops, what are the steps of agricultural process, what is the manure and fertilizers, and how is the crops stored after the production. Today we are going to study all these points in detail. I have a request to all of you before starting the lesson. If you are new on this channel, please surely subscribe it and don't forget to press bell icon so that you get all the notifications on time. Let's get started. We have learned in previous lecture that food is needed for all living organisms and they get their food from plants and other animals, but plants prepare their own food by photosynthesis. That's why they are called autotrophs. All living beings, including humans, are not able to prepare their own food, so they depend on plants and animals for their food. Now, the next question comes that why do we take food? This food gives us energy, and through this we do all our work. India is a vast country and at present its population is about 130 crores, and to provide food to such a huge population, its regular production, proper management and distribution is necessary. Now we will read about agricultural practices. Till 10,000 BC, people were nomadic. They were wandering in groups from place to place in search of food and shelter. They ate raw fruits and vegetables and started hunting animals for food. Later, they could cultivate land and produce rice, wheat and other food crops. Thus was born agriculture. Is it clear to you? Let's go ahead. Look at this picture carefully. It is a wheat crop. Apart from these, it is a paddy crop. Now we will discuss our first point, agricultural practices. First of all, we will discuss definition of crop. When plants of the same kind are cultivated at one place on large scale, it is called crop. Just now in pictures we have seen two examples, wheat crop and paddy crop. In our country, on the basis of climatic conditions like humidity, temperature and rainfall, the cropping patterns are classified into two categories. One is Kharif crops and another is Rabi crops. The crops which are sown in the rainy season are called Kharif crops. The rainy season in India is generally from June to September. An example of Kharif crops are maize, soybean, paddy, groundnuts and cotton. And the crops which are grown in the winter season are called Rabi crops. The season of Rabi crops in India is generally October to March. An example of Rabi crops are wheat, gram, pea, mustard and linseed. Next point, 1.2, basic practices of crop production. Cultivation of crops involves several activities undertaken by farmers a period of time. These tasks are referred to as cultural practices, which are as follows. First is preparation of soil, second is sowing, third is adding manure and fertilizer, fourth is irrigation, fifth is protecting from the weeds, sixth harvesting and last one, seventh, storage. We will discuss here all the points one by one. First point is preparation of soil. The preparation of soil is the first step before growing a crop. What do they have to do to prepare the soil? They have to plow in the field. One of the most important tasks in agriculture is to turn soil and loosen it. This allows the roots to penetrate deep into the soil. Turning and loosening of the soil brings the nutrients rich soil to the top so that plant can use these nutrients. Thus, turning and loosening of the soil is very important for cultivation of crops. Now we will read about agricultural implements. The farmers uses many types of tools during the farming like khurpi, sickle. See this picture, it is called khurpi. It is used for loosening of the soil. In this picture you are seeing sickle. It is used to cut the crop. The process of loosening and turning of the soil is called tilling or plowing. This is done by using a plow. As you can see in the picture, plows are made up of wood or iron and is drawn by a pair of bulls. It contains a strong triangular iron strip called plowshare. The main part of the plow is a long log of wood which is called a plow shaft. There is a handle at one end of the shaft and the other end is attached to a beam which is placed on the bull's neck. Next agricultural implement is toe. Toe is used for removing weeds and for loosening of the soil. It has a long rod of wood or iron. See in the picture, it is a strong, broad and bent plate of iron is fixed to one of its end and work like a blade. It is pulled by animals. Next agricultural implement is cultivator. Nowadays, plowing is done by tractor-driven cultivator. The use of cultivator saves labor and time. Next agriculture practice is sowing. Sowing is an important part of crop production. Before sowing, good quality and healthy seeds are selected. Farmers prefer the use of seeds which give high yield. Traditional tool. The tool used traditionally for sowing seeds is shaped like a funnel. The seeds are filled into the funnel and passed down through 2 or 3 pipes having sharp ends. These ends pierce into the soil and place seeds there. Second is seed drill. Nowadays, the seed drill is used for sowing with the help of tractors. This sows the seed uniformly at equal distance and depth. It ensures that seeds get covered by the soil after the sowing. Sowing by using a seed drill saves time and labor. Next agricultural practice is adding manure and fertilizers. The substances which are added to the soil in the form of nutrients for the healthy growth of plants are called manure and fertilizers. Continuous cultivation of the crops makes the soil poor in nutrients. Therefore, farmers have to add manure to the field to replenish the soil with nutrients. This process is called manuring. Manure is an organic substance obtained from the decomposition of plants and animal waste. Farmers dump plants and animal waste in pits at open place and allow it to decompose. The decomposition is caused by some microorganisms. The decomposed matter is used as a organic manure. An activity is given in your textbook that you have to take moong or gram seeds and germinate them. For this activity, take 3 empty vessels and mark them A, B and C respectively. To vessel A, add little amount of soil mixed with a little cow dung manure. In vessel B, put the same amount of soil mixed with a little urea and take same amount of soil in vessel C without adding anything. Now pour the some amount of water in each vessel and plant the seedlings in them. Keep them in a safe place and water them daily. After 7 to 10 days, observe their growth. Did plants in all vessels grow at the same pace? Which vessel showed better growth of plant? Note this reason in your notebook. Let us now differentiate between manure and fertilizers. See in the table, the first difference is fertilizer is man-made inorganic salts while manure is a natural substance obtained by the decomposition of cattle dung and plant residue. Second difference, fertilizer is prepared in the factories while manure can be prepared in the fields. Third point is fertilizer does not provide any humus to the soil while manure provides a lot of humus to the soil. Last, fourth difference is fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, while manure is relatively less rich in plants nutrients. Now we will discuss about the advantages of manure. The organic manure considered better than the fertilizers because it enhances the water holding capacity of the soil. Second advantage is it makes the soil porous, due to which exchange of gases becomes easy. Third advantage is it increases the number of friendly microbes. And last, it improves the texture of the soil. Next agricultural practices is irrigation. The supply of water to crops at regular intervals is called irrigation. The sources of water for irrigation are wells, tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams and canals. And the traditional methods of irrigation are as follows. First is mode, second is chain pump, third is directly, fourth is rahat, that is lever system. Now we will read about modern methods of irrigation. Sprinkler system and drip system. Sprinkler system. This system is more useful on the uneven land where the sufficient water is not available. The perpendicular pipes having rotating nozzles on top are joined to the main pipeline at regular intervals. When water is allowed to flow through the main pipe under pressure with the help of a pump, it escapes from the rotating nozzles. It gets sprinkled on the crop as if it is raining. Second is drip system. In this system, the water falls drop by drop directly near the roots, so it is called drip system. It is the best technique for watering fruit plants, gardens and trees. Next, 1.7 protection from the weeds. In a field, many other undesirable plants may grow naturally along with the crop. These undesirable plants are called weeds. The removal of weeds is called weeding. Farmer adopts many ways to remove weeds and control their growth. The best time for the removal of weeds is before they produce flowers and seeds. The manual removal includes physical removals of weeds by uprooting or cutting them close to the ground from time to time. This is done with the help of a khurpi. Weeds are also controlled by using certain chemicals called weedicides like 2,4-D. Spraying of weedicides may affect the health of farmers, so they should use these chemicals very carefully. They should cover their nose and mouth with a piece of cloth during spraying of these chemicals. Next is harvesting. Harvesting of a crop is an important task. The cutting of crop after it is mature, it is called harvesting. In harvesting, crops are pulled out or cut close to the ground with the help of sickle. Next, 1.9 storage. Storage of produce is an important task. If the harvested grains are to be kept for longer time, they should be safe from the moisture, insects, rats and microorganisms. Farmers store properly dried grains in jute bags or metallic bins. However, large scale storage of grains is done in silo and granaries. Dried neem leaves are used for storing food grains at home. So friends, today we discuss all the points of this chapter. I hope you have understood all the points very clearly. If you have any kind of doubt, you can make comments in comment section. You have to try to solve the question of this chapter which are given in the end of your chapter. We will meet in next video with the solution of all the question answer of this chapter. Please like, comments and subscribe my channel and share with your friends. We will meet again in next video. Till then, take care. Have a nice day. Thank you so much for watching this video.